Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to share with you some interesting moments I have witnessed in Washington. These experiences have shaped my perspective on policy and the future we are building together, and I'm very pleased to share them with you. I am standing in the cramped Sacramento press room when it is happening, and right away I am knowing something is off because this is supposed to be a routine policy briefing, the kind of sleepy afternoon hit where reporters are half drinking coffee and half pretending to care about budget charts, but instead the air is vibrating like someone is stretching a rubber band to its snapping point. Cameras are humming, lights are buzzing overhead in that cheap fluorescent way, and California Governor Gavin Newsom is gliding up to the podium like he is stepping onto a late-night talk show, not into a state in crisis. I am watching him as he is smoothing his already perfect hair in the reflection of the glass door, asking in that rehearsed, casual tone if his last line is landing, and nobody on his staff is answering because they are busy pretending their phones are not lighting up with notifications. They are afraid to read. Their shoulders are tightening, their eyes are darting, and then the room is shifting as he is leaning into the microphone with this fake polished smile that is not reaching his eyes, and he is saying, "It clear, sharp, smug. Trump is a piggy." The word is sliding out of his mouth like a middle school insult that is somehow managing to sound both childish and calculated at the same time. And then something very strange is happening because the room is not laughing. There is no applause line, no relieved chuckle, no safety valve. Instead, the room is going silent. Reporters are freezing mid-keystroke. A camera operator's hand is pausing on the Zoom ring. It is feeling like someone is walking into a funeral wearing a clown suit, like everyone is realizing at the same time that this is not just a bad joke, it is a bad judgment call on live broadcast. I am standing close enough to see the slight twitch in the corner of his mouth when the silence is stretching. 1 second, 2, 3. I am hearing the buzz of dozens of phones hitting the network at once as the feed is pushing out onto X, onto Truth Social, onto every platform that is always hungry for content. Social media is not just watching, social media is waking up, spinning, sharpening its teeth. The clip is looping in real time with captions like, "Did he really say this?" And "This is embarrassing," and "Is this leadership?" The first memes are forming like storm clouds, pig snouts, cartoon filters, and the comments are stacking. "This is embarrassing." He already is losing and doesn't even know it. California is burning, and this is his move. Across the back row, I am seeing one of his aides reading those comments in real time, his face draining of color as he is tightening his grip on a tablet like it is a life raft that is not floating. Up front, Newsom is still forcing the smile, acting like this is all going exactly as planned, like the word piggy is landing as heroic wit instead of desperate internet bait. While this is happening in Sacramento, I am knowing another scene is unfolding that is making this one look even smaller because meanwhile, across the country, in Washington, inside the West Wing, the atmosphere is completely different. I'm now in the hallway outside the Oval Office with the traveling press pool as word is moving that Caroline Leavitt is hurrying in with a tablet in her hand, her expression unusually tight. Inside that room, President Donald J. Trump is just finishing signing an executive order when the clip is arriving on his desk. I am stepping in as the door is closing behind us, and the contrast is almost cinematic. The Oval is quiet, the light is soft, the frame on his desk is showing his father, the small bronze eagle is catching a dull reflection, and Trump is taking the tablet, watching the clip in total stillness. No muscle in his jaw is moving. His shoulders are not tensing. There is no outburst, no instant tweet, no thrown punchline, just silence. Heavy, deliberate silence, the kind of silence that is making the air feel thicker, and everyone around him is sensing it because they are knowing this man is never letting lies stand, never backing down from a fight. But right now, he is not fighting. He is studying. He is analyzing. He is waiting. Out in Sacramento, Gavin Newsom is mistaking a cheap insult for a victory, and I am standing between these two worlds, one side panicking without realizing it yet, the other side going colder, calmer, more focused by the second, and I am already knowing which one is about to pay the price. I am staying in the Sacramento building long enough to watch the aftershocks hit, because the moment the briefing is ending, the hallway outside the press room is turning into a nervous beehive. Staffers are clustering in corners with screens held too close to their faces, and social media is becoming its own character in the story, alive and vicious. The clip of Trump is a Piggy is replaying at different speeds, with different filters, with captions that are not doing Gavin any favors, and I am hearing the first wave of comments forming a unified verdict. This is embarrassing. How is this a governor? California is dying, and he is memeing. The ratio is not just bad, it is brutal. The likes are crawling. The mockery is sprinting. The worst part for his team is that every variation of the clip is being stitched not with outrage at Trump, but with ridicule aimed directly at Newsom. Teenagers are adding subtitles like, "When you try to be edgy, but forget you are in charge of a state," and one blunt post is floating to the top, "He already is losing and doesn't even know it." As I am watching that reaction metastasize, I'm moving with the timeline back to Washington, because the real story is now unfolding there in the West Wing, where the vibe is completely different, more like a submarine control room than a circus. I am walking back into the Oval Office as Dan Scavino is entering with his phone clutched in both hands, breath slightly short, eyes a little wider than usual, saying that the AI memes, the doctored pig images, the cheap pig snout overlays are all coming from accounts tied directly to Newsom's own operation. I am watching Trump as he is scrolling through them, and it is not anger passing over his face. It is something closer to disappointment. That quiet, heavy disappointment that is saying more than any shout ever could. He is murmuring almost to himself. So this is what they are becoming. And next to him, Caroline is stiffening, because she is seeing what I am seeing, that he is not offended as a man, he is offended as a president. Offended that someone with a governor's title is behaving like an anonymous troll with a ring light. The silence that is following is not empty, it is strategic. He is not firing back, he is not venting, he is letting the insult hang in the air long enough to reveal what it really is: desperation. When Dan is showing him the live metrics, it is even clearer, because every repost of Newsom's Piggy jab is being buried under comments from ordinary Americans. Is this leadership? This is childish. Fix your state first. Trump isn't even responding, and he already is winning. The numbers are confirming the mood. View counts are spiking on the clip, but favorability for Gavin is dropping in the same breath. I am seeing Trump absorbing all of it with that unnervingly steady focus. Then finally, he is breathing out slowly and saying in this low, controlled tone that is making the room straighten, "Okay, let's respond." The West Wing is reacting like a pressure change, not loud, not frantic, just more alert, more precise. Secret Service agents are exchanging glances through their earpieces. Staffers are moving with quicker purpose, because they are knowing what I am knowing. When he is quiet this long, the answer is not coming as a joke. It is coming as a moment. Across the country, at that same time, Gavin Newsom is backstage in Sacramento, still rehearsing lines like an actor, touching his cufflinks, asking if the insult is playing well, while his communications director is holding a tablet like a sealed indictment. He is finally turning it around to show comment walls full of contempt. Hashtags like number grow up Gavin and Piggy gate backfire are trending, and donors and activists alike are writing variations of, "This is embarrassing, this feels desperate, he is making Trump look like the adult." As I am watching, Gavin's smile is cracking at the edges. The confidence is slipping into confusion. The confusion is hardening into a thin panic, because He is realizing he has picked a fight with a man who is not even in the room and still is managing to dominate it. While he is muttering about clarifying and satire and people misunderstanding, his staff is quietly telling him the brutal truth. The tone is not reading as playful, it is reading as mean and nervous. Worst of all, Trump is still silent, still thinking, still holding his response, while the internet is already declaring a winner. Inside the Oval Office, Trump is turning from the memes to the flag, to the stack of reports on homelessness and crime and outmigration in California that he is keeping on a side table. He is picking up the latest sheet with those rising numbers, and he is not saying much, but I am watching the equation form in his eyes. They are mocking, he is working. They are playing with AI filters, he is reading real damage. Everyone in that room is feeling the same thing I am feeling when he finally is speaking to the country. This is not just going to be about a juvenile insult. This is going to be about what leadership is supposed to look like. I am following the day as it is sliding into evening, and by the time the sun is dropping outside the White House windows, the West Wing is settling into a tense, focused rhythm because Trump is deciding not to toss off a one-liner on social media. He is deciding to walk into a camera and talk to the entire country face to face. I am there when he is telling Dan to get the small studio ready, not the big briefing room, not the rally stage, just the tight, serious space with two American flags standing behind the podium and the lights turned warm but controlled. As the crew is moving equipment in, taping down cables, checking mics, their movements are quick but careful, like everyone is understanding instinctively that what is coming is not a stunt but a pivot point, a clip that is going to live long after tonight is over. Caroline is standing off to the side with her arms crossed, watching him the way someone is watching a storm forming in slow motion, knowing it is powerful but also knowing it is precise. I am noting how quiet he is staying, how there is no rehearsal in the hallway, no repeated lines muttered under his breath, just an internal stillness that is almost unnerving. Meanwhile, across the country in Sacramento, the opposite is happening. The chaos on Newsom's side is shifting from hidden to visible. The press room there is filling with reporters who are no longer sleepy. They are energized, almost predatory, because they are smelling the story in the air. Donors are texting, voters are posting, and every camera in that room is already rolling before he even steps up. I am watching from the back as he is walking to the podium, hands gripping the sides a little tighter than before, forcing the kind of smile that is screaming, "I am not panicking," in a way that only panicking people are doing. Before he is even greeting the room, a reporter is cutting in. "Governor, do you regret calling President Trump Piggy?" Another follows instantly, "Governor, are you aware the clip is being mocked nationwide?" Another piles on, "Governor, why are you talking like a middle school bully when California is facing homelessness and crime?" The staff behind him is staring straight ahead like mannequins, except for the tiny signs. One aide is swallowing hard. Another is wiping sweat from his forehead. A third is reading live comments on a phone that is practically shaking in his hand. Comments like he already is losing and doesn't even know it. This is not serious leadership. He is making Trump look presidential. As Gavin is fumbling out words like satire and playful and taken out of context, the room is not buying it. The laughter he is hoping for is not coming. The forgiveness he is expecting is not arriving. Instead, the sense that he is out of his depth is thickening. While this is happening in real time, back in Washington, I am moving with the staff into the small studio as Trump is arriving. No theatrics. His coat is sliding off his shoulders in one smooth motion, his red tie straightened with a quick adjustment, and he is stepping in front of the flags with that grounded posture that is filling the space. The crew is going quiet in that instant way. People are going quiet around someone whose presence is heavier than the room. I am standing against the side wall, close enough to see the tiny lines at the edges of his eyes, the kind that come more from responsibility than age. Just before the camera's rolling, he is turning to us, to Dan, to Caroline, to the young intern who is choking the life out of her clipboard, and he is saying in a low voice, I am not doing this because he is insulting me. I am used to insults. I am doing this because Americans are needing to see leadership, not teenagers with titles. The words are landing like steel, wrapped in velvet, soft but unbendable. Caroline's eyes are shining, but she is holding it back because she is realizing, and I am realizing, that this is not about one governor. It is about setting a bar in full public view. Then the red light on the camera is blinking on Dan is whisper counting down 3, 2, 1. Trump is letting that first beat of silence stretch, using it like a tool, making millions of viewers lean a little closer to their screens. When he is finally speaking, "Good evening, America," it is not loud, it is not flashy, but it is instantly commanding. While his voice is flowing calmly into living rooms, firehouses, truck cabs, break rooms, I am picturing the split screen forming in real time because at that exact second, Sacramento is still trying to spin chaos into comedy. Reporters are shouting over each other, asking whether donors are pulling back, whether he is damaging his own national ambitions, whether he understands why people are saying his comment is immature and small. Instead of driving the story, Gavin is chasing it. Thousands of miles away, Trump is not chasing anything. He is reframing everything, talking about families struggling with prices, communities dealing with crime, veterans needing respect. He is saying in that measured tone that today people are not seeing leadership in certain places. They are seeing noise and cheap games. The contrast is turning into a live case study on what composure looks like when incompetence is melting down next to it. I am watching the numbers as the speech is streaming, and social media is no longer just reacting. It is participating like a roaring extra character. The second Trump is saying, what happened today is not leadership. Clips of those exact words are already slicing through platforms, layered over split screens of Newsom stumbling through questions. The comments are writing the verdict in bold. This is how a president is sounding. He is calm, while the other guy is spiraling. Is this even close? I am seeing teenagers on TikTok stitching his lines with captions like, "This is surprisingly serious," while middle-aged users on Facebook are typing long posts about dignity and respect. On Truth Social, the flood is even sharper, with threads reading, "He is not even naming him and still dismantling him." When you lead, you don't need nicknames, you need clarity. The earlier mocking of the Piggy insult is hardening into a narrative. The governor is looking petty, the president is looking steady. Inside the small White House studio, I am feeling that same narrative crystallizing in the air, because Trump is not rushing, he is not gloating. He is pressing on the larger point, telling Americans that leaders are not supposed to hide behind cheap insults. Leaders are supposed to face problems head on, to focus on families, on workers, on soldiers and cops and teachers. As he is saying this, that quiet fatherly quality is coming into his voice, the tone a parent is using when he is not angry, just deeply disappointed. I am seeing Dan behind the camera, blinking faster than usual, fighting back emotion he is not expecting. Caroline is standing off to the side with her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles are going pale, trying to keep her composure as she is realizing that this is turning into one of those rare political moments where power and humility are touching at the same time. Meanwhile, back in the Sacramento press room, the dissent is continuing in real time. The confidence phase is gone. The confusion is giving way to panic. We're now squarely in the collapse. Reporters are no longer asking if Gavin maybe regrets the insult. They are asking if he is understanding why donors are withdrawing, if he is seeing the internal polls leaking, if he is realizing that his own base is calling the move childish. The staff behind him is starting to break character. One aide is slowly stepping back instead of forward. Another is whispering to a colleague, "He should not have said it, not today." A third is staring at his shoes like he is attending his own campaign's funeral. In the middle of that, Newsom's phone is buzzing nonstop in his pocket. Each vibration, another text. He is dreading. This is getting bad. Stop talking. You are giving him the high ground. When a local California reporter, not even a national star, is cutting through the noise with a clear, devastating question, asking why he is insulting the president during a homelessness and crime crisis instead of focusing on his responsibilities. The room is freezing. The cameras are zooming in. For the first time, his mouth is opening without any words coming out. In that moment, he is understanding what I am understanding. This is no longer about pig jokes and memes. This is about the fact that the nation is watching two men at the same time and quietly grading them. Back in Washington, Trump is moving toward the close of his message with the same careful control, reminding young people who are scrolling that you do not win by mocking others. You win by showing up, working hard, respecting the people you serve. I am feeling the weight of that line settle into the room, into the country, because it is not complicated, but it is rare. Right then, social media is doing something almost unheard of in this era. It is rewarding calm, not chaos. Comment after comment is saying, this feels like actual leadership. I did not expect this tone. He is sounding like the grown-up in the room. The feed from Sacramento is filling with clips captioned, "This aged badly fast. He already lost the moment he opened his mouth. And is this leadership?" As those two streams are flowing side by side, I am realizing we are heading straight toward the real impact moment. So far, Trump is not even directly touching the insult. He is building the frame around it, raising the bar so high that when he is finally addressing the Piggy line, he's going to use it like a lever, not a punchline, and the country is going to feel the floor shift. I am standing just a few feet from the lens when Trump is changing his posture, almost imperceptibly, settling his hands a little more firmly on the podium. I am sensing the turn before he is even saying it. The energy in the room is tightening. The crew is leaning in. Caroline is holding her breath. Dan is gripping the camera handles a bit harder. Trump is looking straight down the barrel of that lens as if he is looking into millions of living rooms at once. And he is saying in that slow, deliberate cadence, now, I am hearing that today someone is calling me Piggy. The word is hanging in the air like a lit match. At that exact second, in Sacramento, Gavin Newsom is jerking his head toward the bank of monitors where the live feed is playing, realizing too late that the president is finally stepping onto the field he thought he owned. The reporters around him are turning like a pack of animals catching a new scent, eyes sharpening, pens ready, because they are knowing this is the moment that decides who is walking out of the story standing. Back in the studio, Trump is continuing with a tiny half smile, not smug, more amused. I am being called a lot of names over the years. The fake news is practically writing a dictionary around me. But I have to say, Piggy is a creative one. The crew is stifling laughs. One of the camera techs is biting his lip. Caroline is pressing a hand over her mouth because the delivery is slicing without ever raising its voice. Then he is shifting tone again, going from humor back to that unshakable calm. Here is the truth, though. If a governor who is watching businesses leave, watching families leave, watching people sleep on sidewalks in one of the richest places on earth is wanting to call me Piggy. Maybe somebody is needing to remind him of one little thing. He is pausing just long enough, letting the silence stretch like a drum roll. I am the one who is eating his poll numbers for breakfast. The line is detonating instantly. Dan is nearly laughing out loud behind the camera. Staff off screen are quietly doubling over. Social media is exploding in the very moment, clipping, captioning, looping, adding text, like he did not just say that game over, he already lost, and now he is roasted. Trump is not even finished. He is following up with a softer, deadlier tag. And if anybody is hogging anything in this country, it is not me. It is the governor of California hogging excuse after excuse for why his state is falling apart. The laughter online is turning savage, but in the studio, his face is staying composed, almost gentle, as he is adding, "But listen, I am not hating him. I am not hating anybody. I am wanting every governor, even the ones who are insulting me, to succeed, because when they are failing, real Americans are hurting. And I am loving this country too much to enjoy anyone failing." That pivot is landing like a hammer wrapped in velvet. The clapback is devastating, but the moral frame around it is even stronger. I am seeing Caroline's eyes fill again, not from sadness, but from pride. Dan is nodding low to himself like he is watching a championship play drawn up and executed perfectly. Thousands of miles away, Gavin Newsom is standing at his podium, staring out at a room full of reporters who are no longer taking him seriously. One of them is whispering to another, "He is finished." Another is saying flatly, the president is destroying him on live video. A staffer behind him is dropping his hand from the governor's shoulder as if even that small gesture of support is now too heavy to maintain. Social media is finishing the job, feeding every news cycle with split screens. On one side, a governor flailing, sweating, stumbling over the word misunderstood. On the other, a president standing steady between two flags, delivering a mixture of sharp comedy and sober clarity that is making people say, this is what leadership is supposed to sound like. As the speech is reaching its end, Trump is bringing the tone all the way back to the core voice, quiet but firm. America is deserving better than insults. America is deserving truth, strength, and real leadership. And as long as I am serving you, that is exactly what I am giving. The last word is sitting in the air like a closing gavel. Then the red light on the camera is going dark. I am standing there in the cooling silence, hearing the echo of notifications beginning to surge again outside the room, knowing this clip is already taking over the night, already reshaping the narrative, already turning one smug little word into the biggest self-inflicted wound of Gavin Newsom's career. As the edit is uploading and the first headlines are hitting, I am turning back to you, the viewer who is watching this whole story unfold on your own screen. And I am saying this because this channel is living on people who are wanting more than spin, people who are wanting to see the mask slip and the truth step forward. Like, comment, subscribe, and join our community for more stories that reveal the truth.